Hey everyone, this is Dan with Theta Trend. Today is Monday, February 1st, 2016. It's about 2:20 p.m. or so Mountain Time. The market's closed 20 minutes ago. What we're looking at here on this chart is a weekly chart of the Russell 2000. What we can see here, this is the first day of the week, so this bar represents both today and the week. But the market tried to push lower today. It found some buyers down there, and then it tried to push higher and sold off a little bit from there. And one of the things to point out is that in the longer term time frame, we're kind of nudging up onto the bottom of this rising trend line from 2009. That's what this lower trend line is. And we're also coming into this area of resistance from about the 1035 to 1055-ish area. And this is just somewhere where we sort of expected the market to run into a little bit of trouble, and it seems like, at least for the time being, it's kind of stalling in here and trying to figure out what to do next. And so this is pretty normal activity following this move lower, and it's just digesting that move, and we'll see how it plays out in the next few days and weeks. But let's go ahead and drop down to the daily time frame. So on the daily time frame, it's getting a little bit busy just because of all of these expiration break-evens. So the expiration break-evens that we're looking at, the green was the start of the original CIB position, and that was back on January 20th. And from there, we rolled the position lower. And shortly after we rolled the position lower, you can see that the market kind of blasted up through that expiration break-even, so we were forced to adjust it. And that took us to this darker blue, bright blue, I guess, darker bright blue. And then earlier today, we pushed up and above that adjustment level, and so I made another upside adjustment, and that moved our expiration break-evens to about 1045. And on the downside, I think we're down around 957 or so. We can call it something like that. And we'll look at the position here in just a minute as well. But we had the big up day on Friday. This was something around a 3% move, I think. And we've kind of stalled out at this declining 20-day simple moving average. So that's not really to be surprised, nothing to be surprised about, I guess. And we might see a continuation of the downtrend, but we really don't know. But at any rate, the market's kind of trapped here and it's chopping about. It is up and above this rising 10-day simple moving average. So really what we're just seeing in here is a lot of chop and indecision, and we found support, kind of when we traded down into the 1020 area this morning. So that's good, but it's not extremely constructive and it's not extremely bullish at this point. The chart isn't. So let's go down again to the 65-minute time frame, and we've been watching this box for a while, or this area of consolidation, or an area of value, or whatever you want to call it, but it's just a bound that the market seems to be held by for the time being, and the upper side of this bound is somewhere around the 1035-ish level, and we came up to test that level, and it was respected, and we pulled back a little bit, and we found support right here around these previous highs, which was right in the neighborhood of the low 1020s, and we found that this morning. And from there, we rallied back up to hit the box, and we hit the 1030-ish, 35-ish level, and from there we sold off a little bit. So we're still sort of, trapped within this box. And what we'd really, in order for the market to move higher, what we'd expect to see is we need to see it get up and above this level, hold kind of that 1030, 1035 level, and from there it could start making a push up towards 1050 or so. For the time being, we haven't seen that, and at the same time, it has held support. So we'll see what the rest of the week holds. It's too early to tell, and we're not going to be predictive about it. But if the market does fail, say we pull back down here into this 1020-ish area, if we pull back down to the 1020-ish area and that level fails, we're likely going to head at least a little bit lower, maybe down into the 1010 neighborhood, or to come back down and test the 1000. Really breaking below this 995 to 1000 level is, probably back to the 985. That wouldn't be expected, but that's unexpected. But that's still a little ways away, and we don't have any reason to believe it's going to happen just yet. We are on the upper side of the box here, so the market could turn lower, but we just don't know what will happen. So let's hop over and take a look at the position. So today, I made an upside adjustment to the trade, and if we go over here, you can see what I did is I added the 970, the 1020, 1070 rut put butterfly for a 1060 debit, and I also picked up the 101 IWM call for 436. So the resulting position looks something like this. And this existing position includes all of the previous adjustments. So we have the 97 call, we have the 101 call. This 104 call is related to the original roll lower. So on the original roll lower, we lost $7, not a big deal, and that's after commissions. And so this buying and selling for buying for $7 and selling out for 0, that locks in the $7 loss on the risk graph up here, so it's in there. The 102 call was the original long call that came with one of the subsequent positions, and we rolled that down to 97 to pick up a little bit more delta. I think that was after the roll lower, and we added the second butterfly and rolled down the call. If we move down here, we can see that we have basically three butterflies. One is centered at 980, one at 1,000, and one at 1020. So that's kind of what we're looking at. This is what the position looks like as of the close today. You can see the market closed here at 1032 and some change. The position now is up about $22, so we were down about $90 on Friday, which seems sort of like a funny print, and I think that may have been a funny print, but we're up about $20 today, so we're still fine. We've tolerated a big move lower and a real fast whipsaw to the upside, and nothing really has happened except we've paid a few commissions, and that's good. We're not taking any heat or pain or pressure, and that's what we want. The next upside adjustment we're probably going to be looking at is going to be right out in here, kind of if the market tips up and above the 1045 to 1050 level. And if we hop back over to the chart, that's really not that much higher. You can see I have the alert here on the 65-minute time frame. So what would have to happen is we'd have to have the market get up here, hold this level, and make a push up into 1050. And at that point, we'll be looking at the next adjustment, which is going to be either to roll up the lower butterfly or to simply just close the lower butterfly. And we'll kind of evaluate it when it becomes necessary. For the time being, it's not necessary, and the amount of time that passes between now and when it becomes necessary will influence what we ultimately do at that point. But for today, we can see here the delta is -3, which is good for three butterflies. Gamma is -13. Theta is about 1890. -57 Vega, and again, the open profit's about $22. So everything is looking healthy and everything is looking good. If we get up into this 1045-ish level, we'll be looking to do something, but for the time being, we're just going to hang out. If the market sells back off down into the 1010 to the 1000-ish area, and certainly down to the 990, I'll be looking at closing out this upper butterfly. And we'll do that and likely lock in a gain on that butterfly, and that'll really flatten out the T+Zero line and make the position float a bit, if you will. But for the time being, we're just going to hang out in here. We have about 45 days to expiration now, so we've been in this trade for a little while, and I think at least 2 weeks, and everything is fine. Everything's going along just fine. We'll see what the rest of the week holds. It's really hard to know. Things have been very all around lately. There's been a lot of movement higher and a lot of movement lower. So I'm not going to predict what's going to happen. We'll just react. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to send me an email, info@thetatrend.com.